So I've seen this game rise in recognition on various platforms, mainly YouTube. Fighting has been mentioned and regarded as one of the hidden gems of Roblox. Despite its mentions, it is still not on the Roblox front page, which is why I'm going to introduce you this game myself. Fighting is a team-based third-person shooter game created and launched by the Roblox group Bogio, which is currently owned by 7GB0. Who is under the name of Aiden. Having to have been a fresh game, it still receives constant content updates. Unfortunate enough, this game only has 9.3 million lifetime visits, which may sound a lot if you're grateful enough, but this number loses to other games that have greater numbers. Having to have made a short about fighting means that I have played fighting myself. And let me tell you the basics. Fighting is a team-based shooter game where you contribute as a class or a fighter, a term used to refer to a playable character. The fighters are divided into 3 types of classes, and each of them has their own special unique abilities, a passive ability of their own, and a distinct attribute. The melee fighters are close combatants that rely on their melee weapons. These people are characterized as being good all-arounders, since they have the perfect abilities and shield to make themselves shine in battle. We'll go back to the shield system later in the video. The range fighters are obvious. They rely on ranged firearm to shred opponents from afar. These people can be quite vulnerable to close combats, and they are not really equipped with great HP. Support fighters are fighters that can either give extra attributes to their teammates or somehow ruin the opponent's positionings in a match. Although they are support fighters, let me tell you something. They are not as weak as other support characters portrayed in different video games. They still have things up their sleeves to kill people. Alright, but so you've chosen a preferred fighter. Just like what I mentioned, each fighter has different abilities. Join a match by talking to this NPC right here. The ultimate skill does not get unlocked unless you follow it up by either damaging the opponents, doing something in general, or you can just wait. Your fighter also has a fixed HP and shield. The explanation for this is simple. The shield is a type of HP that can be decreased after taking damage, and it is able to regen by itself. Unlike normal HP, it is not able to be restored by healing abilities. Shield will always be prioritized before HP. However, there are skills that completely ignore shield and the damage goes straight to your HP. You do not die as long as you have HP. HP is what determines whether you die or not. Unlike shield, it cannot be restored unless you die or someone heals you. If it reaches 0, you obviously die. Overshield is a type of shield that is temporary and can only be gotten if you're granted through abilities. It disappears if it's broken or expires or decays. This is considered a greater shield since it gets prioritized before shield. So the priority order looks like this. If one is broken, it goes to the other one. The game also promotes different gamers such as Conquer, which is basically King of the Hill, and Annihilate, where your team has to get the most kills. It's also equipped with a lot of maps where each of them has its own specialties. For the hotkeys, just understand by looking at this. It is not an identity top up video if there isn't any personal opinion. So overall, fighting is an amazing game. I had fun playing this. Everything can be classified as well made. Starting from the character designs, character skill effects, maps, and even the GUIs fit the theme of a comedic cartoonish game. But of course, I would be lying if I told you that it's a perfect game. It's still got flaws. First of all, could you guys change the way you get into a match? I think having a general lobby pop-up is a better thing than talking to this NPC. You have to walk to the NPC first. By having buttons right on the screen, players can get in matches quicker and easier. Second of all, fix the bug where it does not teleport you to the server with the code that a player inputs. This game also has to have a player balancing system. Not the amount of players in a team, but the skill levels. You see, the opponents may be filled with experienced players. Meanwhile, your team contains new players that do not even know how to even shoot. But I assume that TF2 is also like that, so I'll just leave it to the devs. Another common problem is class balancing. We do not want the team to be filled with only ranged fighters. A team needs a balance of tanks, ranged fighters, all-rounders, and support classes. Just imagine having to deal with a team that shows squishy fighters. At least just have one tanky fighter if you want to go for it. For the ultimates, I'm not disappointed with the fact that the animations are longer than a trip to Europe. Rather, I'm not a fan of the fact that you're not invulnerable while the animation is playing. Like, come on, if the animation is playing and then you die once the ult has almost been initiated, you lose it entirely. Note that most ultimates or finishes require you to get up close and personal with the enemies. In the character selection menu, the skill explanations are too long and small, like I ain't reading all that. Some skill effects may lag PCs, especially the older versions, and knowing that if all of the effects are initiated in a short period of time, just say rest in peace to your potato laptop. They should add a setting where the player can modify the graphics to prevent lag and also give some players hope. And that was it for fighting. Overall, a very unique game thanks to its cartoonish designs. I do not have the right to call this a competitive game, so call your friends and have fun in this game. I hope that the developers may take inspiration from the suggestions I've given out so that the game could get a lot more comfortable. Since the game is still in alpha, the devs and the fans still have a chance to develop it since it is not final, and it is subject to change. So I encourage viewers to help the devs make this perfect by the time it's full release. That's it from me, thank you for watching and have a nice day.